Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Greg Robinson. I'm the Director of Park Administration for the Buffalo Olmsted Parks Conservancy. We're here this afternoon to discuss a lighting enhancement project at Martin Luther King Jr. Park, funded by Empire State Development. We performed our first round of community input in late July, early August, including a meeting out in the park itself, and the community has identified several focus areas. Those include on the west side of Fillmore Avenue, a dark area in the park just south of the Cottage Garden, a lack of lighting levels at the basketball courts, a lack of lighting at the shelter buildings and playground area adjacent to Best Street, an opportunity to improve lighting at the basin itself, and an overall condition of improved lighting throughout the west side of the park. Over on the east side of the park, the focus areas that came up in need of addressing are general lighting levels along the pathways themselves, lighting levels adjacent to the new Kaboom playground, lighting near the tennis courts, and lighting levels within the MMA area, with an opportunity to incorporate artistic lighting and a real focus on the MLK Monument area itself. Based on the community input received, the consultants have provided a design development level drawing package utilizing the Olmsted standard pedestrian poles and the Olmsted standard overhead poles. On the proposed photometric plan provided by the consultants, the different bubbles represent the different amounts of light from each of the proposed poles, the magenta color being the brightest and the cyan color being the lightest. As you can see, they did focus on the key areas identified. The pathway south of the Cottage Garden has improved lighting along it. The basketball courts have proposed pedestrian poles at each one of the entrances to the court to illuminate that area, and there are proposed additional lights around the pathways adjacent to the shelter buildings and playground adjacent to Best Street. There's also overhead poles proposed around the perimeter of the basin, shedding more light on both the pathway surrounding the basin and also illuminating into the basin itself. On the east side of the park, the consultant has proposed pedestrian poles at 200-foot spacing along the perimeter pathways of the park and along all of the interior pathways. There's increased lighting levels at the Kaboom playground and lights at the perimeters of the tennis court and the areas adjacent to the greenhouse. There's also additional proposed poles along the MMAs along Best Street and the area in front of the greenhouse and the monument itself. Another area that we would like some feedback is the color of light produced from the high efficiency LED lighting. The LED lights can come in a variety of colors, from cool white, which is almost a bright hospital type light, all the way down to a candle light, which is a more orange brownish light, and anywhere in between.
Hi, my name is Brian Dold. I'm the Director of Planning and Advocacy for the Buffalo Olmsted Parks Conservancy. As Greg mentioned, in addition to the interest in park-wide safety measures, there was a specific interest in looking at artistic lighting at the MLK Monument Plaza. As you know, the Monument Plaza, located on the east half of the park near the greenhouse and along Fillmore Avenue, a little easier view to look at of the plaza itself. The consultants put together a packet of options and artistic ideas to think about how we could improve the artistic look of the plaza, not only for safety but also for artistic uses. Some of those ideas were the idea of improving the two floodlights out at the perimeter, ideas of using those large poles to shine spotlights onto the bust itself, as well as other areas, floodlight across the whole park, and then as well potentially colored lighting and potentially even stenciled projections of either graphics or short sayings in light onto the plaza at night. In addition to that, there were ideas of doing spotlights shining up onto the surrounding vegetation, as well as along the wall itself, the beautiful stone wall on either side of the bust. And then as well around the perimeter, ideas about potentially adding in lit bollards to kind of light your way to the plaza from the surrounding pathways. So all these ideas were presented and talked about not only with the community, but with our partners, the Buffalo African American Museum Committee. There's a lot of excitement about not only thinking about the safety, but also how we really highlight this key feature of the park. Some of the concerns and discussions we've had so far have been related to the durability and making sure that anything that's down at ground level is going to be well constructed to handle all the pressures of public park use. That's the end of the presentation part. Thanks for your attention on this video, and at this point we really love your feedback, not only on the artistic ideas around the monument, but again looking at the whole park and safety concerns and our proposed recommendations through this communication process. So you can go to our website and you'll find all this information and an opportunity to fill out a form for us to get some comments in.
Thank you for your feedback. Your comments are key.